were telling me there was? Weren't you telling me there was a plug-in for this thing?
What is it?
For the earplugs?
Yeah, it's right in the front. Right in front of the top. Okay, guys, we're streaming as time travelers now.
Oh, I see it.
It's the one on the
I see it.
towards the back.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna be listening, so I'm gonna be with the viewers.
Okay, and let's go ahead and get rid of this card protector.
Yeah.
There we go. Look at that. Oh, that's a nice hand. Oh, that's a pretty hand. You all see that hand? That's not so shabby. It's not so shabby. So what are we looking at with 16 big blinds and a shove? Babyface Jack shoving. We're going to go ahead and reshove and isolate and hope that our ace-9 offsuit is not dominated by ace-king. Very frustrating. God damn. Yeah. Hate those matchups.
You just bust?
Well, no, we're still in it. Still in it to win it, and now we actually have a pretty nice hand that kind of looks like a tilt shove. And actually, the guy wakes up with ace king offsuit against our queens. God.
What do you have? Queen?
Yeah. Okay, boys.
Are you in still?
That's gonna be it. 33 out of 59 players.
Okay. Sign up for the next one, I suppose.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and sign up for something else here. Let's see what we've got. We've got a $10 rebuy and add-on. Looks good to me.
Okay. That's funny. So it's like you knew. There you go.
Yep, it's like I knew.
It's like you knew that this was gonna happen, right? The universe.
What did I know?
I don't know. Like
I didn't know. I didn't know jack.
You didn't know anything.
I didn't know anything. So we go ahead and come on in with a little rebuy. The old queen jack offsuit.
It's a 3-minute delay, right?
Yeah, 3-minute delay. A little bit more. I think it's kind of closer to 4.
Okay.
200 seconds plus the
You
plus
can
the
see
20
You
second.
can see the comments on the other laptop, right? Do you have that?
Yeah, I can see the comments.
Okay, good. So that should be good.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
All right.
I think it's more interesting. I think it's better. I could talk about the hands. Gives me more to work with. Don't have to worry about spoiling anything for anybody.
Do you want peanut butter? Oh, I'd have to see this hand.
So we are no longer in the $30 rebuy. We are down $90 in that, which just sucks. Never really got any momentum. We came in late, so from the get-go we were a little short stacked. Then we lost 2 hands where we tried to get away with a pre-flop steal, and that was pretty much it. Just downhill, downhill, downhill. Maybe we should have gotten away from that ace-9 offsuit. But it just felt like, a desperation shove when he's making it, when he's sitting there with less than 10 big blinds. I feel like there's enough, ace-9 is kind of on the border there where I feel like a very good chunk of the time we're up against a hand where we're just dominating him. Where he has like a weaker ace, ace-7, ace-6, ace-5, ace-4, he's shoving there. And we're just loving our spot. And then I think there's also a lot of times when he's shoving with like the old Jay Carver favorite, king queen offsuit, or any 2 court cards, and certainly any smaller pocket pair he's shoving with. We don't really love those spots, but we don't hate them either. What we do hate is when he shoves with ace king, and we make the call with just a dominating position and just hate it. So, but that's okay. Every tournament is another chance, you know. We've got another chance for sunshine, another chance for treasure. And hopefully we won't be dropping any frames now because we are hardwired. We got it all sorted out. Let's see what we've got here. 8-3 offsuit. We can let that go. Ace-Jack offsuit has potential here. Limp, another limp. Do we limp? No, we don't. This is one of those spots where we're going to go ahead and put a little pressure on them. We figure to have the best hand. Any better ace, we're probably looking at them raising pre-flop. Unless they're pulling a Sklansky and they re-raise here, at which point it's probably, probably a fold. What a beautiful flop that is. Just a beautiful flop. If we could pick a flop, that would be about it. Jack high. You know, nothing really that we're worried about. Go ahead and continue with it. You know, hope that he's sitting here with some sort of hand like pocket nines or pocket tens, has like 2 outs. You know, or a pair of jacks with a weaker kicker, and he's looking at like 3 outs. Well, now we hope that he doesn't have pocket tens, but we are going to go ahead and bet for value here. You know, we're not going to just check and let him get value out of his better hands and escape, with his worst hands. So, okay, guys, off to a pretty good start. I think that the add-on period starts here in 22 seconds. So, yep, new tourney. He's back. Hit refresh. Thanks for joining us, Dodgy U and Zast Fun Real. Feeling good. Feeling good now. Every tournament's a second chance. We're gonna go and run this up. We're gonna go all the way to the final, and we're going to take down our first tournament on Twitch, streaming live with a very, very small delay. Take the add-on, and it actually puts us in a pretty commanding chip position here. I mean, you look around the table. I'm liking our spot. I'm liking our situation. Do me a favor, guys. You know, if you're enjoying it, if you're enjoying chilling out here with me, go ahead and make sure that you're following us here on Twitch. Follow us on Twitter. Maybe even give us a retweet. Give us a little tweet love, man. Go on Twitter. Give us a little Twitter love. We're doing we're trying to bring a lot of people here on Twitch and get the people interested in these poker streams. So
make sure you tell them that your subscription button's coming.
Yep, working on a subscription button. We'll see how that goes. So now we're on a little 3-minute break. Why don't we take the time on this 3-minute break to I'm getting pantomimed here.
Comments.
Yeah, let's look at some of the comments here. And I'm also gonna go ahead and take a look and see who else is twitching in the poker channel. Maybe we can snipe someone else's stream for a change. Okay, let's take a look here.
What's the delay here? 4?
On break in this new tournament. Let's take a look. So Captain SVO223 says all online players are shoving ace king there. Good players. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely, all online players are shoving ace king when they have less than 10 big blinds. But I also think that they're probably shoving a lot of other hands besides ace king. There was a book out that kind of changed the way people think about poker called Let There Be Range. It's a pretty expensive book. What's this? You know. And the whole point of it was that you can't, when you're thinking about what your opponents have, you got to put them on some sort of range. That's pretty much it. And so when we got an 8 big blind stack shoving into us, what's his range? It's pretty wide. And I think that ace 9 offsuit actually does pretty well against, against that type of range. But maybe not. Maybe I'm giving them a little too much credit and thinking that they play a little too much, a little looser than they do. We'll see. How much satellite action do you go after for the WSOP main event? And I don't do, I don't play too many satellites. James DeBear. I can't say that. I think it's been several years since I've played a satellite, just because I feel like I like to relax when I got my time off during the series, and got a backing deal, so I don't have to really worry about putting up the cash. If I was having to go out of pocket for every 1,500, I'd probably play a lot more tournament, a lot more satellites for sure. Do you use these small tourneys as a warm up for the WSOP? K Bennett, 423. I do. I think these are pretty much, the best warm ups out there. Really, it's kind of interesting after Black Friday when all the we really saw a change in the skill level. It used to be that you'd see new players, 21, 22, 23-year-old kids showing up to the World Series and just kind of crushing, playing really well. But now that, you're just not in a situation where you can put in, it was a different tournament mathematics, different tournament. I busted the 30. Now we're stepping down in limits and playing a $10. So now all these 21, 22, 23-year-old kids who are showing up to the World Series every year haven't had the experience that they once did. They haven't had the, hundreds of thousands of online hands and, tens of thousands of online tournaments that they have in the past. And so now I think that what you're seeing at the World Series every year is kind of a skill shift where the best players are going to be in their late 20s and early 30s now instead of early 20s. And you're also seeing a lot of really strong Europeans and Russians who are coming in from that online background. Online is a perfect training ground for the World Series. Even though there's a lot more going on in the series than at like a live series, as far as like physical tells, online is just a great way for you to basically get situational awareness beaten into you over 100,000 hands. So you're able to see situation after situation after situation, and eventually it kind of hones your your spidey senses, if you will. So let's see what we're doing here. Queen 10 offsuit in the cutoff. I mean, this is definitely a steal spot if everyone folds to us. We'll go for that 2.5 times the big blind amount. And if SM Zig shoves here, we're probably not calling off. We might though. It's actually not that bad. We'd be looking at 1,000 dead money already in the pot, having to call like another 2,500. So 3.5 to 2.5, it'd be close. And if I was SM Zig, I wouldn't hate shoving here with a pretty large range of hands. So nice when we don't have to, think about it. It's so nice when we don't really have tough decisions to make. And guys, thanks again for joining us. This is always fun.
Did you tell me your favorite bag of chips?
400. So we would have made it 400. We're gonna go ahead and make it 720. The formula here is your standard pre-flop raise, which would be 400 plus the 2 open limps. This is a raise for value. We're raising with ace 9 offsuit, actually thinking that we have the best hand here. We're thinking that we have the best hand. Ideally, they both just fold, but If we get called by one of them, it's okay. We're able to go ahead and continue with the pre-flop aggression. He checked rather quickly. 4, 5, 6, which isn't really what we like seeing. We don't like seeing that check call really quick. He just checked again really, really quick. Does he have a 10? I don't think he does. You know, I think that he's looking at a hand that he can't really take that much heat with. And we get check raised. General rule is if you get check raised, and also check raise the minimum, we're probably just screwed here. Yeah. Maybe we could have gotten away with just checking back on the turn. You know, when generally the quicker someone checks on a flop, when they're in especially that kind of flop where what hand could they have where they're not going to want to see a cheap a cheap turn card? Usually the quicker they check, the stronger their hand is. So just to kind of keep in mind there. I don't know what he had. I don't love it. And then we have ace-8 offsuit there. That's definitely a spot where normally would be raising pre-flop. But anytime you lose a hand, anytime you lose a little chunk of yourself, and best to just kind of take a breather, let a few hands pass, and let the attention focus on somebody else rather than oh look, Dutch is bleeding chips. Let's get some of them. Okay. Still in very good shape here. I think that we are right up there with the chip leaders of our table. I'm going to go ahead and add the lobby as one of our sources here so we can kind of bring it back and forth. You guys can see kind of where we're at. So we're 18th out of 47 right down here under Paul DeWald. Chip leader Brian D with 43,000 chips. It's a lot. It's kind of funny, when you think about the chip leaders in these things, this early on. Yeah, you have to be doing a lot of things wrong to get that many chips. You either have to be running like God or doing really taking a lot more gambles than you probably should. That's why you really see this chip leader curse. What's your favorite bag of chips? Ask Bonger Nut.
I already answered that. Fritos.
Yeah, Fritos, and it's not even close, Bonger Nut. Not even close. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, James DeBeer, on both of your points there. Fritos make a damn fine chip, and it is kind of a weird change to have to worry about German and Russian players. It used to be just, it wouldn't even be on your radar when you were thinking about who the top players are. So thanks for joining us, guys. Let's take a look at, let's see what the other poker streams are tonight. Let's see who else is. Okay, so we've got DeBus Driver making this min raise, which is just weird. And we're going to go ahead and take a flop. 3-2 offsuit's one of those spots where we have a lot of implied odds against some hands that he could have if we hit the right flop. What do we think DeBus Driver has? It's such a it's one of those weird pot sweetener bets, and I think it's a bad bet. I think we're probably looking at a hand where he probably has some sort of pocket pair, and he's just trying to sweeten the pot. I don't think that he folds as quickly as he did if he had like an ace queen. So, what else could he have where he's folding to and also trying to just sweeten the pot like he did? I'm going to say pocket sixes is what he had. And if that's, pocket sixes, pocket fives is kind of where we put him in, because those are the kind of hands where if we do flop two pair, he's loving his hand a lot of the time. And sometimes we're able to just completely crush him when we get that magic straight. Thank you, TTZ. We're hoping that the jacks are not crushed by the three hands it could be crushed with. Okay, quads will work. Give him another king for fun. Quads is a good hand. Quads is going to take it down here, guys. Good to have some run good. Let's getting our mojo back. Feeling nice. Okay, so poker has 568 viewers. Who do we got on here? Queen Bee 902. We got J Patch. Shoutouts?
Yeah, shoutouts.
Shoutouts or throws, or what do you mean?
Say hi to everybody. It's Matty played a home game, told everyone about the stream. So did you see?
I didn't. Yeah, Matty Matt 316. Thank you so much for joining us. He says I played a home game in Philly tonight. Told everyone about your stream. Let them watch some. And third best of all, I took down all 3 tourneys we played. Boom. That's pretty nice. Pretty nice. And yes, my wee wee is green. I did get the emails. I did get the reply email. I'm looking forward to actually chilling out with you, man. I'm looking forward to when you're rolling through here in Vegas. We're gonna have to go grab a beer and talk shop. James DeBear, thanks for being in the chat. I speed run sex, chili cheese Fritos. Those are pretty good. I actually prefer to. Okay, yeah, I will. We got Cosper the friendly host.
I'm not that.
Yep, Cosper the friendly host. Eximois. She wants me to remind you all, if you haven't, check out the new panels. We got some new panels. We got a frequently asked questions. So put some time into that. We also have a donate button. Still waiting on my first donate. I don't have the Twitch alert set up yet, but I'll get that taken care of soon. JJ Stokey, do you ever suffer from your bipolar symptoms, or does the medication help now? Hope all's well. Thanks, Jay Stokey. Thanks, JJ Stokey. Nope. Been bipolar free for, been mania free for almost 7 years. It's amazing, JJ, how much quitting the drugs and the unhealthy things in your life will kind of clear your head. And I think that I was living a pretty unhealthy lifestyle, wake and bake pothead, staying out all night, not getting a lot of sleep, drinking a lot, every once in a while, have a little cocaine in the system, and all of those things add up to disaster for certain types of people. And I think that I'm just one of those lucky ones that once I was able to cut off the unhealthiness, I've been mania free without any sort of bipolar drugs for 7 years now, and I think that I got that beast kicked. I owe it a lot to my beautiful girlfriend, who just wouldn't put up with it. Wouldn't put up with it. She one time she bought me a bong one Valentine's Day, and then told me I couldn't smoke weed again. So she's got me on a pretty tight leash, but it's good because I feel like I definitely feel like I'm living a healthier lifestyle and a happier life. So Dodge U, show us your WSOP bracelet. Which one you want to see? Which one you want to see?
Wear them all, babe.
Dodge U. What was your hardest final table of the 8 you were in? Mason Jersey asks. That's a good question, Mason. Good question, Mason. Let me think about it for a second. So the toughest final table that I've been in so far, if I look at the 3 bracelets that I won, I don't think either one of those would qualify. The toughest one would have to be the Stud High Low Omaha High Low. This was one that Phil Ivey ended up taking down. I think that I took 4th place, and that was a really, really, really tough final table. You had Tommy Barbour, you had Carlos Mortensen, and Phil Ivey at the same table, and you're playing Stud High Low. That was a really tough one. That would be the toughest one that I've ever been at, Matty Matt. No, was that Mathematics or Matty Matt who asked that? Mason Jersier asked that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and time bank this. Let's go ahead and we'll make it 1,400. A little ace-king offsuit. I got carried away thinking about Phil Ivey and Carlos Mortensen. It's funny, Carlos actually gave me such a horrible beat on that table. We were in the stud high-low round, and he ends up... This is tempting this is actually tempting not to c-bet, but we're going to go ahead and c-bet, just to... We're crushing the flop. It's tempting not to c-bet that and hope that they catch up with something that maybe they can call with. But I think it's better just to go ahead and c-bet, hope that they actually have an ace that's weak, and that we're going to go ahead and get 3 full streets of value against a bus driver, or we're going to get the full stack from SM Zig. I almost timed out there in the big blind with ace-king offsuit. Still thinking about the beat that Carlos Mortensen gave me in the stud high-low round. We're 4-handed, and... I end up, in the stud high-low round, I have pocket jacks against a 10 and a 9. Ivy has to bring it in with a 9. So I go ahead and complete with my split jacks, right? Not pocket jacks, split jacks in stud high-low. And Carlos Mortensen looks down at split 10s and decides, you know what, I'm gonna play back at Dutch. And so he re-raises. I re-raise him, he calls. And we end up getting it all in on 5th Street, and he hits trip 10s. Just devastating. So I'm out of that tournament, and I get to watch as Carlos and Ivy battle it out for a bracelet. That was frustrating, but that was the toughest final table I've been in. James DeBear, I didn't get to ask you much about your presentation because I ended up having to finish up my dinner. You were talking about shifting your aggression during certain levels based on the antes, including increasing it. Some players are uncomfortable with being highly but appropriately aggressive in certain spots. What suggestions would you have for players to get more comfortable with higher levels of aggression? That's a really good question. Really good question, James. I'm gonna answer it in chat. This is the advice that I would give you to get comfortable with just bullish aggression. Is practice looking for spots rather than looking for spots where you can make a good move with the cards that you're dealt. What do I mean by that? I mean, there's going to be a lot of situations where it doesn't matter what you have. And you know this. You have your whole cards in front of you. You get them dealt. You haven't looked at them yet, and you know that whatever you have, you should be raising. You know it. And then when it comes time for you to actually raise, you look down at your whole cards and you see the worst possible holding. 7-2 offsuit, we'll say. And you lose your nerve, and all of a sudden you change your mind and say, you know what, it's not really any 2 cards that I need to be raising here. Let's just go ahead and wait for a better spot. But no, there's not a better spot. There's just better cards in the great spot that you have. Okay? So how can you get more comfortable with looking down and not caring what you have? The answer, James, for me, was not looking at the cards at all. Getting comfortable with raising and using the spot you're in by when it comes around to you, you pretend to look, obviously, but you don't, because it doesn't matter what you have. You're going to be raising with whatever. Once you start raising blind a few times, it gets a lot easier to look down and see the trash and realize it doesn't matter, But that's the advice I would give you to kind of get more comfortable with it. And another good exercise to try, and this doesn't really work a lot for play money tournaments as well as it would for So we're gonna make it 700 because we normally would make it 500 here plus the open limp, right? Another good thing to try is play a couple of micro stake tournaments where you don't look at your cards the whole time, and see how it goes. So here we go. We made it 700 with pocket 8s. We get re-raised 4 times our pre-flop raise by Jesse. And this is one of those spots where, he could easily be just making a move here. There's, aces, kings, queens, jacks, 10s, and 9s. We're looking at 6 hands possible that we're losing to. A lot of times he's just got the overcards with ace, king, We're gonna give him credit for having one of those 6 hands, though. Maybe a re-raise just takes it down, but I don't think it does. I think that we're probably looking at a better hand. At best, we're looking at a coin flip. So we'll just go ahead and congratulate him on his aggression and fold the pocket eights. Dodgy 007. Okay, that makes sense. Dodgy 007. Sorry for mispronouncing your name. Hey, so anybody here in chat, any of you guys like play Hearthstone or like Magic Online or any of these other games that they've been streaming here on Twitch? If so, type it out in chat. I've been thinking about maybe taking a little bit of a break from actual tough decisions that mean something in real life, and maybe streaming a little Hearthstone arena run. Yeah, JJ Stokey. Check out the FAQ. We've got some questions that come up a lot, and yeah, I do hang out with those crew boys quite a bit. Let's see. Right now, Tony Lazar, one of the crew guys, he's the one who kind of got me involved in Check Shove Poker. He's putting on the Check Shove Poker tour up in Minneapolis. Up in Running Aces up in Minnesota. If any of you guys are up close up in in that area in Minnesota, definitely hit it up. It's going to be a good tournament, and I'll be there. So will Tony Lazar, one of our old crew guys.
Do you want to tell him the Scott Fishman falling out story? Because he had the same question about Scott. He was curious about.
No,
I just said that.
I kind of mentioned it in fact. I'm sure that Scott and I are going to put our differences behind one of these days. Poker is just going to last too long. We're both going to be still playing the World Series of Poker when we're old men, and I just don't think that something as petty as a, basically what amounts to a roommate argument is going to, keep us from talking for the next 50 years. But I don't know, maybe. Maybe Scott and I have said our last words to each other. I doubt it. Crews fight. It's like a band. You see it all the time where just, strong personalities butt heads. So, James DeBerry, is there any pro that you feel like you've just held the deck over in your career? I can't say there is. No, but there are pros that I feel like have held the deck over me. The one that comes to mind is John Jawanda. I just feel like every time I've ever played him, he always seems to get the better of me and always get me in these situations where he's just like notching me. It's pretty frustrating. I can't really say that. Maybe Mason Jersier. What do we do here? Now he's just firing out 2100. We're not going anywhere. We'll go ahead and call and hope that he's making a bluff at this pot. The 2 kind of helps us, I guess, right? Now we're not worried about ace-10 splitting. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if the 2 helps us or not. It doesn't change the board at all. So we're hoping that he was just making some sort of move with a flush draw. We don't have to worry about ace-5 anymore. So we'll go ahead and fire out something like... We probably should have put a little more thought into this bet. A third of the pot, half the pot would probably have been fine. We really want to make it tempting for him to call with like a jack. Wow, and he just check raises. I don't know what he's doing. Wow, look at that. And so I guess it, in hindsight, it turns out that we bet the absolute perfect amount, which made him go on some sort of weird, stupid monkey tilt, and decide to give a check raise min bluff with pocket 3s. I don't really like my river bet there, to tell you the truth, guys. I think that I got caught up in my story, and wasn't really thinking, this is just horrible. Look at this guy. I make it 2.5 times the big blind, and he decides to go ahead and just shove for, what is that, 50, 60 big blinds almost? What? Can't even figure it out. It's so big I can't even comprehend how big that shove was. It makes 0 sense, whatever he had. JT Hollywood. Actually, that is such a bad shove that we're going to go ahead and give him a little bony fish right next to his name.
Is that the real sticky rice? Or no?
I don't know.
No.
I don't think so. I think Sticky Rice 1, the legend, is...
Oh, it's a legend. He's just saying the legend.
Thanks, Sticky Rice.
The legend.
Sticky Rice 1. I wish it was a real Sticky Rice. I would like to see the real Sticky Rice show up one of these days.
So that's the first Twitch you watched, wasn't it?
Yeah. Sticky Rice was the very first Twitch I ever watched. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and give him a little check raise here. We could make an argument to just check call for pot control. But I don't think so. I think that ace-10 offsuit is probably crushing him right now. And I don't think we're going to lose him. I think that we're probably going to be able to keep him on the hook. So let's go ahead and bet half the pot here. We're probably losing him right here with this bet, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe he decides to stick with us. And now we're worried about an overpair. Whatever. Yep. Good game, JT Hollywood. This is one of those spots where a better player, maybe we fold there. But when you got a player with a bony fish next to his name, you put that there for a reason. So you got to make the call when you've got top pair, top kicker, and he decides to just donate all of his chips. That puts us in a pretty good spot, guys. Pretty good spot. And take a look. This is kind of a fun call. We can make this call with 6 high because the guy's sitting out. There's so much dead money in there. We're risking, I think, 370 more with not, with 6 high. But there's enough dead money that, when we're in a situation like what we're in, ace-9 versus 6-4, we don't ever really figure to be dominated that much, and we're going to win enough dead money on our call there that the fact that the big blind was sitting out actually made that a pretty easy call. So let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and make it 700, our pre-flop raise amount. Thank you, JJ Stokey. Yeah, I got second against TJ Cloutier. Howard Lutter ended up coming third. I'll tell you too, JJ Stokey, that Raz final table was pretty tough. You had who else did we have? We had Hoyt Corkins there. We had John Jawanda at that final table. We had John Spadavecchia, who bracelet winner and made the final table in the main event a few times. TJ Cloutier, Howard Lutter. I think that we might have even had. Did we have Andy Block at that final table? I can't remember, but man, that was a tough final table. My first final table, and it just felt like everything was going right. That was the very first time I ever played Raz too, but I had played a lot of stud high low, and when it comes down to it, Raz is basically like, the special needs half brother of stud high low. If you can play stud high low, Raz is so much easier. So I wasn't really as far out of my element as maybe I kind of let on in the interviews. Even though it was my first Raz tournament and experience with Raz, I had played so much stud high low up in the card rooms in Northern California when I was propping that it really is just second nature. A lot of really, I mean, the starting hand requirements for stud high low and Raz are virtually the same. You play it almost the same. Really, the only difference is that the high card brings it in, and since it's not a split pot game, that makes some changes too. So let's see. Dutch Boy and Scott Fishman, Google is great. So, Dodgy, Dodgy 007. Yeah. I'm sure Scotty and I are going to be friends again. I would bet on it. Right now, I bet that he wouldn't bet on it. I bet that he feels like, I basically gave a Bluff magazine interview after our little, disagreement, falling out during our roommate situation, and he hated the fact that what should have been private was made public, but whatever. That's what it is. We are in a very public arena when we come on to play the World Series, and we're playing for millions of dollars and bracelets and ESPN cameras all over the place. So I don't think that to call him out on in a Bluff magazine interview, that's not really doing him that much of a disservice. It's doing him a favor. It's keeping him in the spotlight, and helping the chances of him getting sponsored by Ultimate Poker or whatever. He doesn't see it that way, but it's okay. He'll get over it. Yeah, I am saying hi to everybody. Anybody in particular you think isn't getting the attention they deserve? Okay. Oh my gosh, we've got Butters. Oh my God, we've got Butters in the house. Butters in the house. I was watching this guy's Twitch stream a little earlier this morning. He puts in the hours, man. He puts in the hours. He Twitch streams I think under Butters Poker. So good to see Butters. Yeah, for sure James DeBeer, Butters is a streamer.
You should play a home game with him. Probably beat you though.
He probably will. He looks like he's put in a lot of hands in the last year, probably a lot more hands than I have. Let's see if he'll let me get away with it. So I didn't have to raise as much as I normally would. Normally I'm making it 700, but since the big blind was already sitting out in those situations where there's you can lower your raise amount, I just made it half the pot. Timmy147 asks, Timmy, check the FAQ. We got another guy saying, "Hey Dutch, you still buddies with Empty Seat 88?"
That's funny.
JJ Stokey, your Raz game is impeccable. Would you consider playing high stakes Raz if you could find the games? I do love non-hold'em games. I'll probably play a lot more mixed cash games. See what we got. I'm gonna go ahead and load up the lobby for us all too. You see, we're still, wow, and we're not in first position even with this monster stack. We've got someone who has even more than double us. It's amazing. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and make it 700 here. 700 with pocket sixes. Yeah, look at that. Someone has 92,000 chips. King, queen, ace, ace. It's amazing. Man, this is a spot where we'd really like to just snap him off. It's so irritating. It's so irritating getting re-raised here. This is the second time Jesse's just come over the top of us, and it's a pretty big shove. He's sitting here with 35 big blinds, 36 big blinds in front of him, and he decides to just overshove. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It really doesn't. And a lot of the times we're gonna say that he's just putting his head down with ace king offsuit.
Mathematics had a question for you.
Dutch, what's the best starting hand instead high low? It's actually a pretty interesting question, mathematic. It's a tough question because you can make a lot of different arguments. You can say that ace 2-3 suited is going to be the best starting hand. You can say that rolled up aces is going to be the best starting hand. I kind of like rolled up eights or rolled up sevens because it's people can be going for a better low and give you a lot more action than they probably should. But in the end, it's kind of it's kind of a question that's not really worth spending too much time spinning your wheels over, because it's kind of like saying, well, what's the best PLO hand? Is the best PLO hand ace ace jack 10 suited, or is it ace ace king king suited? I don't know. You're gonna play both of them, so it doesn't really matter. But what you're looking for when you're playing stud high low, the rolled up hands just aren't going to happen that often. So, but obviously when they do, anytime you get a rolled up hand, it's huge. Even if it's like rolled up nines or rolled up tens, and really anytime you have an exposed nine, if you see a good player with an exposed nine coming in, he should always have rolled up nines. Pretty much. The only other hands that maybe he should play there, 9-8-7 suited, I would fold that. I would fold that in stud high low. A 9 with buried aces, I would fold that too. So if I have a 9 in stud high low, you can count that it's rolled. I'm rolled up. Just know that if we're ever playing, if you see me having a 9 in stud high low, I'm rolled up. Because otherwise I'm folding the hand. Okay. But generally any three wheel cards that are also suited are going to be right up there. Also, a buried pocket pair with a baby showing, and generally the more concealed your hand is, the better it is. The biggest pots in stud high low happen when I looked over here and I thought that I was still showing the lobby. The biggest pots in stud high low are going to happen when you scoop a hand against a very, very, very strong high hand that thinks that he's kind of got you board locked. So those are going to be those situations where you're able to have aces full against someone who has eights full of nines, that kind of thing. So those are going to be the best. JJ Stokey, wow, she's super hot. Trust me when I say she's super hot. What the hell how does that make you feel, Michelle? How does it make you feel when it says your girlfriend sounds unattractive?
Okay. It's not a big deal. He just wants me to probably pop my head in.
Just keep in mind, JJ Stokey, she's the one with the band hammer. 7 years we've been together. It's and I've never gotten tired of her. I think that she's the most beautiful woman I've ever met. And I like her voice. I don't know. Just finished your book. Was a Kickstarter supporter. Nice read. Mr. Andrew Mack. Thank you. I appreciate it. Mr. Andrew Mack is in our chat, and he just, he said he was one of the Kickstarter guys. So when I did my Poker Tilt book, I started it off with a Kickstarter, and got about $9,500 in pre-orders for a book that hadn't actually even been written. So it was really encouraging. I don't know that if it wasn't for the Kickstarter, I might not have actually finished the book. So thank you so much, Mr. Andrew Mack, for your support. K Bennett 423. Have you ever played in Bobby's room? No, I've never played in Bobby's room. It's always been a little bit too high for me. One day, maybe after this series, I'll be rolled to sit down at the highest stakes against the toughest sharks. But for now, I just kind of have to live vicariously through guys like Johnny Monette. Why are you making it 700? If I'm not wrong, 700 is 2.5 times the big blind. So Damon 258, 2.5 times the big blind is where I want to be raising at this point. Just a thought, you could add an affiliate link to Amazon with a link to your book on the FAQ. It's another revenue source. Thank you, the Bob Hatter. Thanks for the suggestion, Bob. So I actually do have a link to Amazon. If you look down at my panels down here, there's a picture of the book, and if you actually click on the book, it'll take you to Amazon with an actual affiliate link. So this is pretty tempting to call. This is one of those situations where normally I'm going to be calling any two cards, and this is certainly any two cards. But you know what? It's okay. Let's just give it up. What are we looking for with ace 8-3 offsuit? We're looking for we're looking for some sort of stupid 2-pair hand. Okay, so this is going to be a re-raise here. We're going to go ahead and make it. We'll make it 3 times his raise, so 1,800. We don't really want to see, we really don't want to play a pot out of position, and so pretty much everything we're raising with is going to be 1,800. Go ahead and continuation bet. Any flop, we're going to continuation bet with pretty much anything that we have here. So, now we can probably. Well, we're just going to go ahead and continue here. If he has like ace, king, then king, queen, we lose. I almost like checking there on the turn because I think that there's enough hands that he has where he's going to go ahead and fire out that it's almost worth checking to induce the bluff there. But I think it's okay to also just continue with the drive and assume that he has some sort of hand that actually has outs, and we don't want to give him a free chance to hit like the ace that he's holding with his ace-9. Let's see, JJ Stokey, I heard you went broke in 2005. Have you built your bankroll back up over the years? Have you found it hard to be in so much makeup and owing? I am in this position now and would like to know your best advice to get out of this situation. Wow. JJ Stokey, wow, tough question. Answering it in the future, in answering it on the stream in about 4 minutes. So JJ Stokey says, I heard you went broke in 2005. Well, I'm trying to think. 2005, 2006, 2007. I've gone broke more times than I can count. There's been so many times when I've been down to like my case few hundred or case few thousand, and you gotta scramble up and grind, and it really puts a lot of pressure. So I can definitely relate. And when you say, have you found it hard to be in so much makeup and owing? I would say yeah. It's very demoralizing when you're in a spot. We're just gonna go ahead and call here. A lot of times we'd be raising, but Queen Jack offsuit, it plays well multi-way. It's okay to allow the small blind and big blind to come on in. And what do you guys think here? 6, 8, 7. He fires out. I think we can call. We actually probably have. The only we're kind of worried about. Well, now it just sucks. There's no way that Queen Jack is ever ahead here. So, oh wow, look at that. And if not me, TW had us completely waxed. We were pretty much drawing dead on that flop. So I've definitely been in a situation, JJ Stokey, where first place is not going to get me out of makeup.
Poker History 101's on.
Poker History 101. What's up, man? Good to see you. You know, if anybody in anybody in chat who's following along right now, Poker History 101 has a really nice Instagram stream. Definitely worth a follow. So go ahead, and if you like pictures of the gritty poker underlife, go on Instagram and follow Poker History 101. While you're there, go ahead and click on our on our Instagram banner down here in the panels, because we've got some pretty good photos photos as well. So JJ Stokey, how can you feel better about being broke? Man, I don't know. I guess just don't dwell on it and be happy. Try to look at other things that you have going for yourself that money can't buy. You're probably young and healthy, and that's something that there's lots of people with a lot more money than us. Sheldon Adelson how many billions would Sheldon Adelson give for another 20 or 30 years of life?
New Zealand, Lord of the Rings, man.
What do we got?
New
I
Zealand,
live in New Zealand.
Iceman, Kiwi.
Yeah, what's up? Good to see you, Caucasian Rage. Caucasian Rage. Lord of the Rings, man. Good to see you in chat. Good to see you in chat.
Do you know who that is?
Sticky Rice won the legend. Don't be afraid to manually type your bets. That's good advice. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and raise here. We could definitely see Butters just coming over the top of us. And if he does, what do we do? What do we do? For another 7,400? I mean, we've been abusing his big blind a lot. He's looking at it, and he's like, won't be pushed around anymore. But here's why we're going to go ahead and call, and we're going to take the worst of it here, okay? Is because we're going to probably plan on playing a lot with Butters. And we don't want him to start getting into the idea that he's going to be able to push over the top of us there without having to actually see the best of it. This is one of those metagame plays, right? So Butters is another Twitch streamer on here. He's a regular, and there's very little chance that we're going to call with 10-9 suited and be good, okay? So when people are looking at making the call there, it's like, why would you make that call? Of course you're going to be bad. The reason we're making that call is it's a metagame call. It's letting him know, look, when we've got you waxed in chips 4.5 to 1, you're not going to be able to make those types of shoves with what you figure to be slightly the best of it and not have to have your hand hold up. Obviously when we call with 10-9 and he has ace-9, he loves it because he's actually in a dominating spot. But even then, we're going to still win that pot a good chunk of the time. Something like 30%, so 30% of the time he's out, and 70% of the time he doubles up. We don't like it when he doubles up. But again, that was one of those just weird situations where it's a metagame play. We're going to let him know that when we're in the small blind and we're making the raise, he's not going to just be able to take it down by shoving. And the reason, we can't let him think that, and it's going to matter more in the future. We wouldn't be making that call against people that we're not planning on playing with a lot. That's just, we're going to be seeing him again and again, and we don't want him to think that, oh, well, Dutch raises with a lot, with a wide open range, and then folds that open range when I shove here. So I'm going to shove here with my ace rag and just take the pot. So criticize if you will. I'm perfectly fine getting it in with the worst there, to prevent him, to keep him from making those same type of shoves in the future. Okay, let's see. Let's all switch with these Kiwis for like a month. Bankroll management. Do you play cash games? So back to what you were saying, JJ. I wish you the best of luck. It's kind of hard to play your way out of a hole, and at some point, especially if you're in makeup with a backer, at some point the backer is probably going to drop you if you're not able, and that's okay. Then you just that's probably the best thing that can happen, really, is when you're so deep in makeup that you don't see a way to get out of it. talk to your backer. Actually say, look, we gotta work out some sort of deal where if I am taking, if I am cashing, we're gonna have to kind of put the makeup on hold and allow me to take out living expenses and build a bankroll and whatnot. Backers just want their money back. And when you're so deep in makeup that it's hurting your morale and you start playing worse, they'll work with you. They're going to try to get you to playing really well again. So that would be my advice for you, JJ. Yeah. Mason Jersey says, when you're down to your last few hundred, there's no bankroll management to follow. That's about right. There's one thing that, let's see. One glance at the girlfriend before we go to bed. Look at JJ Stokey. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. JJ. Lots of Instagram pics of her. Just follow us through the button down there. The Bob Hatter. There is a large Dutch board is literally Hitler circle jerk on the poker world. That's funny. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining us, the Bob Hatter in chat. So, how do I deal with the haters online? I can understand it. Everybody loves to hate when they're behind a computer and they're chilling out on forums. It's a lot easier to anonymous. It's a lot easier to be negative than positive. That's just true when it comes to forums, when it comes to politics. And so I think that how I deal with it is, and I don't dwell on it too much. I stopped. I took the Google alert off of my own name a long time ago. Basically, if you want to go out and look for people slinging mud at you, it's very easy to go out and find it. But why put yourself through it? The worst thing that you can do is Google your own name, because there's always going to be bad things out there where people dislike you. If you don't have some level of public criticism, then you're not doing something right as a poker player. And there's no poker player who's loved by everybody. It just doesn't happen. So Jack 8-5. The best thing that I do is I don't go on forums where I know what's going to happen. 2+2 is just like I don't go there. I try to ignore it as best as I can, and this is so tempting to fire out a bet here, but you know what? We're going to go and just take a free card and see what happens. And this is a value bet if they both check. We'll go ahead and fire out half the pot. Hope to get called with like a 10 of spades or a 7 of spades. And it looks like we do. If you guys are interested in knowing, we've got a 2 of spades is what he called us with. He had pocket 2s there. Okay, 9-iron 12. Thanks so much for joining the Twitch and reading the book. 9-iron 12 says he's 5 chapters in the book, some very enlightening stuff. He can really relate to the Brothers Against the World stuff, and I'll tell you, that's I was very lucky to grow up with somebody who I felt like, my little brother and I are very, very super close, and we always have been. He's 11 months younger or 13 months younger. So, growing up we did everything together, and he was definitely my best friend until I met, my girlfriend Michelle, ex-moi. So I feel really lucky to have that. A lot of people don't. A lot of people are growing up, single kids, only children, who have to look outside of their family unit for strong relationships. And I'm really lucky to have them in my life. Caucasian Rage, yeah, she's super hot, no doubt. Congrats, Dutch. Thank you for the congrats. Thanks for the congrats, Caucasian. Oh my God, more. Just throw her on the goddamn string so I can go to bed. JJ Stokey, I don't want the last thing you think about before you go to bed to be my girlfriend. I'm sorry. She's camera shy, which is pretty funny. If she wants to come over here, she can come over here. I want to talk again a little bit about the call I made. The call I made with the hand against Butters, because one of the reasons why shoving with Ace-9 offsuit there looks so attractive to a pro is because you have this idea of fold equity. When you take the idea that when you take fold equity off the table, you're forcing them to play what's going to basically be a tight passive game against you. So anytime you're in a spot where you're going to be playing somebody long term, and this really, this applies to cash games probably more than tournaments, because in tournaments you just don't play with the same people enough to make these kind of meta moves worth it. It's basically an image building move. But anytime you're in a spot where there is history to be built with somebody, and you're in you're kind of on the fence of whether you should call or fold, lean towards calling. Lean towards removing the fold equity from the equation in future situations. It just makes sense. Hungry Hippo says, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass, it's about dancing in the rain. So I think I like it. It's a good quote. That's a good quote, Hippo. Quote to live by. One for Reader's Digest. Why don't you go on 2+2?
I'm just gonna say check the sticky.
Girlfriend, at that point I will either fall asleep or will become a sub. That's funny, Stokey. I like it, Stokey. So we don't actually have a sub button right now, Stokey. We're working on it, trying to get the partnership deal with Twitch. I hear that it's in the works. We'll find out. Cricketish. Thanks for joining us, Cricketish. Talking about the book I wrote.
Elvin Bets. You didn't say
if you want
to Elvin Bets.
A digital copy.
Elvin Bets. Crooked Dish. Oh.
It's called Poker Tilt. Okay, so let's see. Kid Tier left, also streaming on Twitch. So Brandon Johnson, is Butters streaming like right now? Because if so, I might have to join up and take a look at his stuff. I think he is. Look at this. He says we're back, baby. Kind of cool.
During the breaks, gonna make everyone forget about that. So I kind of not necessarily raise based off my hands late in the tournament. It's based off how long it's been since I raised. So folks to me, I'm like, oh, I raised. Well, it's a good spot to raise because you get credit. So there's times you might 3-bet complete garbage, and there's times you might open fold ace jack.
Kind of interesting. I'm tempted to pop on the headphones, guys. I'm tempted to pop on the headphones and listen to our buddy Butters. He's right next to me, and he happens to be 4-tabling. Looks like he's also playing on Seals with Clubs, which is run by a buddy of mine named Mycon, who recently got his door kicked in by the by the Nevada Gaming Control Board agents. Assault rifles, guns drawn, handcuffed, and drug out on the street in his underwear in front of his 2-year-old daughter and lovely wife Martha. So now he's in Antigua, and he's going to keep on going with his illegal offshore U.S.-facing card room. And can you really blame him? I mean, as long as people play on it, he'll probably keep on doing it. James DeBear says, I kind of wish I was watching Butterstream to see what he had thought about that call. Yeah, I think that I would be interested. I got to think that he is probably critical of it and probably earned me a little bony fish next to him. But it's one of those situations where I'm okay with the call. I like the call. Hey Michelle, any chance you might be able to grab a yogurt cup?
Yeah,
for me?
yeah.
Thank you, baby. Bryce Laughlin 09 said he didn't know what it was, didn't say anything bad, just said he was confused about the call. Yeah. I imagine that if I was in Butter's spot, I would be kind of confused too. I would make a call with 10 high. Old Queen Jack offsuit, not so shabby. We'll go ahead and give a little raise here, and we're going to try to get a little bit closer to a little bit. Well, we're going to go ahead and stick with 1,000, 2.5 times the big blind. As we get a little bit further along in the tournament, we're going to start kind of tapering it down. But especially with our stack, it's okay to go ahead and keep it at 2.5 times the big blind. We've got such a commanding stack compared to the rest of the table that we're going to go ahead and keep it at 2.5 times. 4, 5, 6, 7. And generally, I don't like stealing blinds 2 hands in a row. I don't want people to start, playing back at me and coming over the top of me. But Jack 10 offsuit, I like it. I like the hand. I like, I'm fine with, I'm fine if someone goes ahead and calls because it's one of those hands that plays really well. If you do flop top pair, you're not going to be dominated that often. A lot of times you're able to just completely crush it, and you're able to represent bigger hands than you actually have. So, but if I had like an 8-6 offsuit, I'm not gonna just steal for the sake of stealing here. Marcos Live Philippe. Marcos, thanks for joining chat. Yep, this is real money. This is real money. The Bob Hatter. When Twitch asks why you should be a partner, just type, because I'm Dutch Boyd, damn it. That is good advice. JJ Stokey, still with us. Still with us. Though he still wants to see the girlfriend. I would want to see her too. You should give them what they want to see, baby. Give them what they want to see. Yeah, it's true. Anybody who wants to has seen Eximo. And that's true. Yeah, garbage all the time. I can believe it. I feel like he saw it coming. He had to have seen it coming. So we got... This is a weird bet. It's not really enough for me to ever fold anything. I actually have better than average. I'm kind of tempted to go ahead and re-raise him there because I feel like a lot of the times the reason he's betting is to prevent me from raising even more. Seeing a cheap flop. But I'm actually going to go ahead and just give him credit for having ace 4 beat there, especially on that flop. Yeah, it looks like Butters is playing a lot more tables than I am. I mean, that's the right thing to do too if you're trying to grind up, and make a living playing poker. You can't do it just playing a single $20 tournament, because really the ROI for this thing is pretty small. This is actually a $10 rebuy, so we're in for $30. Our ROI in this thing might be 20%, so this is basically like $6 of expected value, and it's going to take us 3-4 hours to actually realize it. So yeah, Butters is doing this for a living. I'm really just enjoying the stream. I'm enjoying chilling out with you guys, and I hope to win. Definitely trying to win, but I'm more just kind of relaxing. My ROI is going to be coming tomorrow when I'm playing the Win Classic main event.
There's some good questions about DJ in Falcon.
Okay.
A question about Sheldon Adelson. I don't know if you did that yet.
DJ. Some of us East Coast players are starting to hear rumors that Sheldon's starting to turn up the heat on the ban of online poker. Just wondering if you heard any news of this in Vegas. Answering this 4 minutes in the future. Okay, so yeah, we are hearing rumbles about a Sheldon Adelson effort to, increase the heat on his battle against online poker. I think that what we're seeing is that we're hearing about a lot of back alley meetings that he's having with senators and representatives to try to push something called the Restore the Wire Act bill, which would make online poker illegal on a federal level. And what this would do is, anytime you're in a spot where something's illegal federally but legal on a state level, federal trumps. A federal law is like the ace of spades. It's going to be the trump card. So we see that like with marijuana legislation, right, where marijuana is scheduled on the federal level, and it's illegal on a federal level. So it doesn't matter that Washington State and Colorado, Alaska and DC have made it legal to recreationally use marijuana. It doesn't matter that California and Nevada and a host of other states allow for the use of medical marijuana. It doesn't matter what the states say, because on the federal level, marijuana is illegal. So if you're smoking weed, if you're holding marijuana, if you grow your own pot, it doesn't matter if it's legal statewide. It doesn't matter if they don't enforce it. It's still illegal on a federal level. This whole idea of restoring the gonna go and make it 1,200, kind of getting back down to that 2 times the big blind. This whole idea of restoring the Wire Act law passing, and basically what it would do is it would shut down all the online sites that are right now legal and regulated. Like 888 out there in New Jersey. It would shut down WSOP.com for me. I can't wrap my head around what Sheldon Adelson is thinking and why he's doing it. Here's a guy who's made close to $40 billion in the casino industry, and he seems like he's just on this fight where he feels so self-righteous because he thinks that there is there's actually a moral problem with gambling. Here's a guy who has made his fortune and his legacy in the gambling world as a casino operator, and yet for some reason he thinks that it's immoral to gamble. I don't understand how this guy can live with himself. He's the biggest hypocrite in Vegas. He's the biggest hypocrite in the world as far as I can see, and he's really messing it up for a lot of people. This is why a good chunk of my friends had to leave the States. They're out in Mexico and Canada. This is why I'm stuck here playing a $10 rebuy tournament against 80 other pros here in Vegas instead of playing a very huge field tournament on PokerStars. It makes me sick to my stomach. So yeah, we've heard some rumbles out there, and the sad thing is, normally you'd say, oh, call your senator, call your reps, and have them change it. Tell them that they can't vote for it. But this isn't. That's not really how this kind of legislation gets passed. If you look at the history of Black Friday, UIGEA, UIGEA was just kind of slipped into the safe into the Safe Ports Act. Who in their right mind is going to we're going to go ahead and raise here because we're kind of getting tired of him and Bass, making these stupid min raises and taking flops. So we're going to go ahead and represent a much bigger hand than we have. Hopefully we get to just take it down without seeing a flop. 4 high for the win. We're fine with that. Yeah, so legislation doesn't get passed the way that we think it does, and the sad fact is that this whole Restoration of the Wire Act is they're probably going to try to slip it into a bill that no one's going to dare vote against. When you call a bill the Patriot Act, if someone votes against the Patriot Act, then they come off as unpatriotic. It's frustrating. It's frustrating as a poker player to see one guy being able to wield so much power in DC, and I just pray every day that he finally croaks of old age, because I feel like all of our lives as poker players would be better with that one guy out of the life pool. Honestly, I just don't understand him at all. I think that he is a hypocritical fuck, and he's just a horrible person, horrible human being. Okay, enough about Shetland Addison. I'll tell you what really gets my goat is that right now, how many people are over at the Venetian playing poker right now? Let's take a look. This is what really gets my goat. So right now the Venetian has 24 live games. It's the busiest card room outside of Bellagio right now. There's how people can set foot into the Venetian and play poker when every dollar that's being raked off is basically being used to kill the game. It's just disgusting to me. Absolutely disgusting. Sorry for the rant. Sorry for the rant coming up. Okay, what do we do here? Go and make it 1200. Ace 3 offsuit's just too good of a hand not to take a stab at the blind. If Doggy shoves, we think about calling. Probably won't. If Butters shoves, we snap call. And it's always nice when, because like I said, I don't like raising 2 times in a row. But it sure is nice when you raise and then you actually have a hand that you can re-raise with. This is kind of an interesting spot. I almost want to call and induce Butters to shove. I guess Butters isn't shoving there. It's okay. I'll take Ace King offsuit. If one of these guys squeezes, this is the ideal situation, especially if Im and Bass comes along for the ride. Now we get to go ahead and raise all in, and we'll get called, and sometimes we're actually dominating them. Hold, no 9, no 10. Beautiful. See you later, Doggia. I didn't go quite how we would have planned. We would have planned for him to have Ace Queen, and we would have planned for Im and Bass 1 to come along for the ride. Really what we would have wanted. Oh, shout out to Im, Minnesota. Is that Minnesota Bass? Thanks, bud. So, yeah, we got Im and Bass 1 over here telling us that he's watching the stream.
Who is?
The guy to my right.
He's watching your stream?
Yeah.
As you're playing?
Im and Bass, reveal yourself. Yeah, I don't think Butters is paying attention in chat, but
Can you tell Paper Betty?
so Paper Fetty. Thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, I have considered moving to play Poker Stars, and I probably will do. I let my passport expire a little, a year or two ago. I probably am going to get it renewed just, for the sole purpose of going out to World Series of Poker Europe, and also being able to play F-Tops and W Coupe. I don't think that I really need to move permanently to grind online, but it is something that I'd really like to do. And also when I was, when Michelle and I were living up in Washington, I was really thinking about. Butters gives us. Butters says, "I think you final tabled the WSOP with my with my boy Will." I say, "Givens? Nah, I didn't just final table that shit."
Are you in chat with Butters?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Butters.
So you're doing your chat and this chat?
It's kind of cool, right? So Butters is twitching. He's streaming, and he's also chatting here on the table. So it's pretty cool.
Is he on your table? Huh?
He's on my table, yeah.
Oh, on the table in the in the World Series of Poker one, WSOP.
That's right.
Oh, okay. I thought you went to his channel. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so he's talking about a guy named Will Givens. And so Will Givens, wow. He has kind of a cool story. This is a guy who took fourth.
Is Will Gibbons playing with you?
No.
Oh.
No, so...
What brings you up with Will Gibbons?
Well, so Butters just said, I think you final tabled a tournament with my boy Will.
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome, Butters. 9 high is not something I'm going to force you out with. So Will Givens was a Colorado online player who was just on a tear. It looked like he had just started playing online back in 2010. He took down the FTOPS 250K guarantee. The very next day, he took down the FTOPS 1K. So in the course of a weekend, he turned like a $300 bankroll into $400,000. It was sick. And he just keeps on just tearing it up. He just keeps on winning and keeps on winning until Black Friday. And then from Black Friday on, you just see this long list of live tournament results where he just like goes from stop to stop to stop, kind of getting like 16th here and 13th here and 15th here. And it was really depressing because this is a guy who was just like on fire. And then Black Friday hit, and he had his livelihood completely taken away. And now he has to, hump the tournament trail, playing $300 tournaments for, ROIs of maybe, 60%, 50%, $100 a day at that point. And it's sad because, I mean, you could just see how his future was just kind of stripped away. So anyway, this last series in the third bracelet that I won, it was a 1K no limit, and Will Givens was at my final table. He ended up getting fourth. I wonder which guy you're talking about. Oh. Thank you. I'll just ban that guy. I was thinking about Butters gives us
It's gonna echo that,
Yeah, I know. I shut it down. Okay, let me get back on chat here. That you can move to my basement here in Canada, but my cut would be 34.5%. Well, how big is your basement, Marmax?
No, you have to scroll down. That was a long time ago.
Is that right?
Yeah, you have to go. They're talking about the PBA, and they're still talking about Sheldon.
Okay, I don't have anything more to say about Sheldon. It just makes me mad. So we got if not me, then who? Imin Bass 1. Go ahead and make the call. This is gonna kind of induce Butters to call. If Butters shoves here, and one of these guys, and we just start getting some calls, then it's time to reshove. I'm kind of surprised that Butters didn't take a flop here. Getting 8 to 1. You'd think that he'd kind of come along for the ride. Which are Paul, Sticky Rice? We got Sticky Rice 1 saying, not a big fan of any politician except for R. Paul. I'm not sure if he means Ron or Rand. I guess if I was going to have to choose a politician, I like Ron Paul. And then we got Rand is better than Ron. I don't know if I would agree with that. So, pocket fives. Too strong to lay down. We're going to go ahead and come on in. This is kind of a rough hand to play. It's a pretty good flop. Pretty good flop. So we're going to go ahead and c-bet the same amount. We're going to assume that we're ahead here. But we're also going to assume that, if we are ahead, he's got, 6 outs, 12%. That might have been one of them. I guess what we're hoping for here is to see a flush draw. Yeah. Look at that. He had 3 outs. Ended up getting there. He's not folding any, on the flop. I think that we might have been able to lose him on the turn. But I also think that it's okay to fade the 6% there that actually caught up. 94% of the time we win that hand. And when he doesn't hit the ace, I think a good chunk of the time he's going to go ahead and give it a bluff. So the check on the turn is kind of inducing a bluff when he has hands like what he had, ace 5. If he had a hand like like a king queen or a king jack, and misses his straight, or misses his overcards, he's probably going to give it a bluff on the river. So. God, it's raining men, hallelujah, says, no politics, please. Let's argue about religion. This is funny. I'm going to go ahead and take responsibility for the argument, really. I think that probably the Sheldon Adelson rant got everyone kind of worked up.
Yeah, it did.
Gin Falcon. Yes. Sorry for mispronouncing that. Is that how you spell gin? Is it D-J-I-N? I thought there was I thought you spelled that with 2 N's. Yeah.
Will scam people on his. Why did Will scam people on his stakes? I don't know about that. Did you hear about that?
I haven't heard anything about Will Givens scamming anybody on stakes. I'm going to be getting off soon, Dutch Boy. Before I leave, can you say Enorma Pinger on stream? Enorma Pengar.
What does that mean?
I'm not really sure
Saying
what
that
that
right?
means. This is going to be one of those spots where we'll go ahead and raise the pot. If he wants to go with it, we'll go with it. And guys, if you're enjoying the stream, you're enjoying the journey with me. Do me a favor, go ahead and click on that follow button. It looks like we have a lot of viewers right now, 238 viewers. I'm gonna guess a lot of people, who are watching, maybe you're new to poker, Twitchers who are just kind of new to the game. Maybe you don't know who I am. I've been playing pro for, just a quick intro, playing pro for about 15 years. Basically surviving on playing cards. Most of my living is, made during the World Series, which is coming up here in about 10 weeks. I've been fortunate enough to take down 3 World Series of poker bracelets, which you can see behind me. I'm also the author of Poker Tilt, which is kind of a bio book. It would definitely mean a lot. It would definitely help if you go ahead and click on that follow button. Follow my Twitch, and I'll be doing a lot more of these.
And share with your friends.
And yeah, share with your friends. Tell people. Everybody in poker is really excited about Twitch because everyone sees this as, potentially the future of poker. So help. Let's help blow it up. Help blow it up. Hit the follow and let us know how we can make it more enjoyable on your end. And yeah, as far as this Will Givens scamming a bunch of people, that's news to me. Will Givens scamming backers. If it's true, it's disappointing. I can tell you I've had a lot of experiences where people have scammed backers, and it really messes it up for everybody.
But being a person that had bad things said about you, you can kind of.
That's right.
Too.
I can also, I can sympathize.
The ones, the side you have to get all of the sides of the story.
I agree with what Michelle just said. Being somebody that I've personally had a lot of mud slung at me, I'm sure that there's a side to the story that Will Givens would tell where he doesn't come off looking like a super scummy guy. So he raised so quickly. It's tempting just to shove over the top of him, but the chances of Ace 10 being good here is just nil. There's nothing. There's no chance that Ace 10 is going to be good. Vitamin C. Thanks for joining us in chat. It's currently 11:26 p.m. in Vegas. Sandtop 2. What would you do for 200K? I don't even know how to answer that. A lot, I guess. Sandhop. 200,000 is a lot of money for anybody. Hey, Dutch Boyd. I'm the B&M forum of blank. Thanks for banning me. I'm going to post in the mod forum. It'll be removed from our sidebar sometime tomorrow. Enjoy having 1/4 of the number of viewers. Really smart move. No wonder you're playing a $10 tournament.
What's the B&M?
I have no idea what you're talking about. And I don't really care either. So Senor Quesadilla says, I'm the B&M forum of
what is B&M
star brick and mortar. I don't know what he's talking about.
Did you ban that person?
Thanks for banning me. I'm going to post in the mod forum and you'll be removed from our sidebar sometime tomorrow.
Who is that?
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't care. Either. I have no idea. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Well,
and I don't really care either. Because I'm going to tell you, it's kind of funny to me.
On what?
It's getting I don't know.
On what is he talking about?
We've got drama.
Is this drama?
I guess. So Senior Quesadilla says, You're the second highest viewer count on our sidebar on blank, which you won't be listed on tomorrow. If you think that's not where your viewers are coming from, you're even more delusional than I thought. I don't know what you're talking about, Senior Quesadilla. I still don't know what you're talking about. This is one of the nice things about being a professional poker player, though, Senior. Okay, see you later, fucktard.
I want to be the banner.
Okay.
Aww. I wanted to ban him.
I guess he's gonna take me off the sidebar or something.
No, he's just a troll. It's nothing.
Anybody have an idea what he was talking
I have no
about?
idea what he's talking about. He was just making something up. I think. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? This is the nice thing about being a professional poker player, guys. Is it doesn't matter who doesn't like you. You know, whether I'm liked or not by Senior Quesadilla 234343 doesn't mean anything to my bottom line. It doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care. Whatever he's talking about, I have no idea what it is. But I guess that I had, like, I was on the sidebar of somewhere, some forum or something.
Just change the subject. It's not a big deal. I just think he's...
Yeah, it doesn't.
Oh, you know what? He's just probably saying... Oh, okay. I think I understand what he's saying. I think he's saying that you're in, like, some pornographic... I don't... Because isn't BMM some kind of porno bondage thing?
B&M, bondage and masochism? I think that's S&M.
No, it's called BM.
B&M means brick and mortar.
Oh, is that what it means? I have no idea. See, that's how... well, who cares?
Okay, so here maybe we get... Maybe we get a raise from Butters.
No,
yeah. B&M I think means brick and mortar. I don't know. If anybody feels like, you know, coming up with an idea, I'd love to hear what you guys think that dude was trying to say, because I really don't know. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and raise here. We'll go ahead and make it 5,100, which is about three times his raise. Puts the pressure back on him. Go ahead and take it without a flop, which is just fine by us because we're probably looking at a flip. But we're never not seeing. We're not never continuing with the hand if he goes ahead and shoves there. So. Okay, so I think that what he was talking about was 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2 must have a sidebar of streamers. You know, because, you know, that's the only thing I can think of. And I guess I would counter if 2 plus 2 is what's sending us traffic our way. Why would we be crushing Skolansky's stream? Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. What I love about poker is it's not a popularity contest. It doesn't matter if people like you or not. Some of the best players in the game are, you know, pretty universally disliked. It doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter if people like the Poker Brat or not. As long as he keeps on winning bracelets, that's all that matters. Poker is a meritocracy. It doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, you know, what color you are, you know, whether you're, you know, male or female. It matters how well you play. And if you have game, nothing is going to take that away. You know, people aren't going to stop watching someone win a World Series of Poker bracelet just because they don't like them. You know, if you name a player, it doesn't matter how scummy they are, what kind of weird history they've got. When they make a final table, people watch because it's interesting to watch, even if it is just a root against somebody. So yeah. Okay, so that's kind of a fun little hand that we've got. I got to think Butters is feeling the pressure. Now, if I'm in Butters' spot, I'm not shoving here. But I think Butters might. Look at him. I think that he's thinking about just shoving for 3 times. No, he's going to let himself blind out. So Sandbacks, I would just... Sandbacks asks, what happened between you and Scott? Just Google it, bud. Bluff.com interview, basically. Okay, so here we're going to go ahead and call. This is kind of a big pre-flop raise, really. You know, it's 3 times a big blind. It's more than I would want to raise, but I can kind of understand why he would make the raise. He knows that I'm going to be calling a lot of hands, so it's almost like making that big of a raise is trying to induce me to fold. And when I completely whiff the flop, I'm just going to let it go. But King-Queen suited hits enough flops there that I don't mind making a call. Okay, Vitamin C. Let me load lobby. Yeah, let me load up the lobby, guys. We're getting pretty deep. So 17 players. My position's 2. And when does it start paying? It starts paying at 6. I'm 2 out of 17. Starts paying 6. And this is why you don't really want to be playing 12 tables when you're also playing a tournament. Here we have Butters somehow not seeing that flop. It's because he's just playing too many hands to even see that was the spot. That was it. You know, there was no other spot that he should have been looking for. He should have been in there with all of his. I mean, we did see him fold that pre-flop, right? Yeah, he folded that pre-flop, and you should never fold there. You know, he had less than 2 big blinds, and he had an opportunity to get it all in against 2 ace kings, and even though he probably would have lost, doesn't matter. Now this is Butters looking over and realizing, oh shit, I was supposed to call there. Better late than never, buddy. We'll see you later, Butters. Enjoy your Twitch, bud. Let's see. Sticky Rice won the legend, disgusted by the Givens thread. Yeah, I don't really go on 2+2, guys. I think that
Looks like a guy named Poker Chump was knew you from Tunica 7 years ago.
Poker Chump?
Yeah. Did you see it on the...
I'm not seeing it. I'm looking for it. Poker Chump. Poker Chump? Hey, Dutch. Met you in Tunica about 7 years ago. Glad to see you're doing well, man. Good stream, bro. Thank you, dude. It's good to be on here. And so Tunica, 7 years ago. I wrote about that in my book, Poker Tilt. You might have been one of those guys. If you were there 7 years ago, you might remember. You might remember the time when that guy crashed right through the lobby. Was that the year you were there? Good to see you on the Twitch. Thanks for joining. Okay, so 2 of I think we're at 16 now, guys. 2 out of 16. You can see here we are in the, there's one guy, this King, Queen, Ace, Ace has just basically been wire-to-wire chip leader. And then it's us, and then a couple 40Ks and a few 30Ks. So we're in pretty good shape. We're not, we're not really hurting here. 2 of 16 Slayer Posse. Slayer Posse, thanks for joining us, Scott, man. 2 out of 16 starts paying at 6. Okay, so I don't know why these guys read. I got it. Go ahead and
You know, we should report that actually.
yeah, probably should.
I'll do it. You do your thing and I'll.
Trolls. It's okay. You know, that's probably Jesse from our table trying to get me off my game. Hey, Matt Moore Poker. Thanks, bud. Let me see if is that the same Matt Moore from Bellagio fame? Local Vegas legend, Matt Moore. This is the guy who, if it's the same Matt Moore I'm thinking about, he's pretty much always playing the 10-20 no limits over there at the the bigger games over Bellagio. We played the Bellagio WPT main together, and pretty strong player. Good to see you in the stream, buddy. Stackopoly. Thanks, buddy. Okay, 2-3 suited. We go ahead and take the flop. We look for a flop like that where we figure to probably have the best of it. We expect him to c-bet, and we're going to go for the check raise. And then when he doesn't give us a chance to check raise, and now an ace hits, now we're kind of just sitting here scratching our head, not sure what to do. I mean, there's a pretty decent chance that now he's value betting an ace. Just fold. So the mic I'm using, Willie O Man, is a Yeti, a blue Yeti. It's just a USB mic. It's $60-something on Amazon during their Black Friday specials. I'm really a big fan of it. The pop filter actually, almost cost as much as the mic. Okay, so do we raise here? I think it's okay just to call here. If he raises, we're going to go ahead and see a flop. Queen high is good enough that we're going to go ahead and try it out. And now we can go ahead and bet what we would have bet anyway and hope that he just completely whiffed it. Wow, look at these guys. So I wonder how many times he's going to do that.
Did he do it again?
Yeah, he did it again. We got a guy who's just going through a lot of trouble to make a new Twitch account over and over and over. And wonder who he is. It's got to be the same guy, right? Senor Quesadilla. I'm not too worried about it. If anybody's curious what he's talking about a little bit of controversy I had when I was 19, 15 years ago when my brother and I basically invented online poker tournaments. It didn't end well for us. We didn't end up being in the Forbes list like, some of the guys who came second. You got Issa Scheinberg, who is on that Forbes list that came out as one of the top billionaires because he basically copied. It didn't go that well for us. Instead, we were basically left with nothing. And I talk about it all in my book, Poker Tilt, about the beginnings of poker, beginnings of online poker, and beginnings of my journey into it. So if you're interested in knowing why random trolls hit the chat and just spew out nonsense about my girlfriend being a money grubber.
Me? What happened?
That was his name.
What happened?
He was like, Duchess GF is a money grubber.
Oh, that's funny. I was banning him.
Yeah, too late. I got him. Then, pick up my book. It's pretty cheap. Less than your average big blind, and you'll get the actual full inside story. because no matter what he thinks he knows, I guarantee you that there's a lot to the story that he just doesn't know. So. This is fun. Ace King suited. And yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll take it. Good game there, Paul DeWald. Nice try. I don't blame you for trying to make a move with Ace Queen offsuit. You know, it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you have a hand like Ace Queen offsuit because, I mean, what else is he supposed to do there? You can't really fault him for the shove. He's looking at increasing his stack by a good chunk. We're getting close to the final table. I've been raising a lot. I don't have to have Ace King suited. I could easily have like just nothing. So, I don't know. I don't hate the shove. I feel like he probably had too many chips to really make that shove though. I think he made the shove for like 22,000, right? Anyway, is this your first Twitch stream or have you been around a bit? I know you from the WSOP world, but haven't seen you on Twitch until tonight. Hey, Micah68PH. Thank you, Micah, thanks for joining us. So this is going to be a re-raise here. You know, we're going to go ahead and make it, 7,200. Put some pressure back on him with what we figure is probably the best hand. If not me, then who? He's been adjusting his pre-flop raise amount. Generally, when people do that, he went from 3 times the big blind not too long ago, and now he's making it 2 times the big blind. Generally, when people adjust their pre-flop raise amount, they're doing it, in the same positions. They're doing it based on hand strength, and the general trend is that people are going to make bigger raises pre-flop with stronger hands. That's what you would probably think of. So, if he hadn't changed that up, would probably be a lot more likely to just call there. But I think there's a good enough chance that we're gonna, that he is making a min raise with a hand that can't stand a lot of pressure. Something like a Queen 10 offsuit, King 9 suited, something like that, where I think it's fine to just go ahead and take it pre-flop. Sneaky Druid says, "This is awesome. You were always one of my favorite players to watch on TV." Thanks, Druid. I appreciate it. I really do. It makes me feel. It makes me feel happy to be here on Twitch. Cursed Gun. Damn. So seriously, the value of his chips is numerical value on WSOP or based on some sort of exchange ratio for dollar chips on WSOP? Okay, so Cursed Gun, I should probably let you in on a little secret. Okay, this is while we are playing for real money, this is a tournament. So this is an $89,000 worth of chips. The most that we can win here is, let me go ahead and bring up the lobby so you can see. First place here is $455, right? So that's the most that all the chips are going to be worth. Whoever ends up with all the chips, that's how much they get. We're not really playing with 89 grand. Let's see. Bryce Laughlin. Been watching WSOP on TV since Dutch and the crew were spotlighted. So that was a good year. That would have been 2004. They had... that was a good year to be in the crew. Right up to that, we got Rolling Stone coming at us, and we got featured in the summer issue of 2005. Those were the good old days of poker, man. Before UIGEA, before Black Friday, we all just kind of thought that it was like an ATM in your living room. It really was. And being a poker player, there was nothing cooler than that in our eyes. It just seemed like pure freedom. We could do whatever we wanted, and it was great. It's amazing because you get it in this your head that that's just never going to go away, and then eventually it does, and you're just completely surprised. There's one thing that all of it has taught me: it's that nothing lasts forever, and so you gotta enjoy it while you can. Can we get the book digitally? PDF form. I play the poker. Glad you asked. Yes, you can get the book digitally. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and make it 2,500 again. Ace-9 suited is a strong enough hand where it figures to be best against these guys. We're also kind of getting to an inflection point where, people are starting to think about the final table.